And we are wrestling with AEW All In 2023. It took place at Wembley Stadium in London, England, in front of 81 billion people. It was the biggest event in pro wrestling history ever in the world, ever. Um, that being said, honestly, I didn't hate it. I thought I wasn't gonna like a lot of the shit that they did, but it actually held my attention for I want to say a good majority of the time. Only a couple of times I jumped off of it. Um, what say you, Scooter? How did you feel about the
Uh,
show as a whole?
it was disappointing. It was absolutely disappointing. This, at no point did it feel like an epic event. You, your promotion, you're, you're the second top promotion in the country. You have the opportunity to do a show in that that fans on the other side of the globe have been dying for over 30 years. And that card is what you give them? That's abysmal. The card barely kept my attention as is. Uh, and I will go on record saying this. It did not sell out because it was AEW. It sold out because it was pro wrestling in Wembley Stadium.
So you're saying if WWE did that show, that it would have sold out.
Yes,
If it was Ring of Honor, it would have sold out.
Ring of Honor would they never get the money to do that. And if they were, a solitary promotion, uh,
New
but
Japan.
New Japan would never do a show at Wembley.
Why not?
I mean, how long did it take to get them to do a show in the States?
It was a while. Let's get into it. CM Punk defeated Samoa Joe in 14 minutes for the Real World Championship. Maybe it was the altercation with Jack Perry just prior to this match, but I just wasn't really feeling it. It was kind of all over the place. It was kind of hectic. It was kind of crazy. It was kind of lame in a sense because they did the whole hulking up spot. That was a little wonky. And CM Punk and Samoa Joe have had a lot better matches than this.
Yeah, they
Um,
were also a lot younger.
I mean, even the one on Collision a couple of months ago was better than this, I would say.
Mm, yeah, I'd say the match on Collision was good.
What was your thoughts on the match?
This it was okay, but I think putting them on first was smart because that meant there was more oxygen for the rest of the crowd.
I, I give this I give this 2.5 stars. Scooter,
Same, same.
Bullet
Yeah.
Club Gold, son of Paul J. White, Mrs. Robinson's baby boy and Takeshita defeated the Golden Elite, uh, Twinkle Toes McFingerfuck, Kodak Ibushi, and Hangman Pagey.
Christ. Yeah, I
Out
think
of
that you
all,
said like Kenny Omega.
oh well, that's what Coda calls him.
Uh,
That's
yes,
just
the
how it.
Golden Showers.
This didn't really bother me as much as it could have. I'm shocked that it actually went 20 minutes and 30 seconds. It seemed
Yeah,
like it was a lot less.
that's
Um, huh?
my problem with this match.
Yeah.
Two things. It went too long, and the ending was really out of place for somebody like Kenny Omega.
Because I feel like this match was more to set up the All In match than the All Out match than, being an actual match for the card.
Ding, ding, ding. I mean, to borrow a phrase from Tony Storm, this is the point where the show starts going tits up. Uh, uh, but nobody. Do, do you honestly care about a match between Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita?
I mean, during the match, I took a to Ketsuka, so, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even enough to get me out of bed. Of course, it takes a lot to get me out of bed to begin with, but
I mean, I you could always watch it at, like, a decent hour like I did. Wait until 8 o'clock. I think like 7 I watched it at, so, I believe both of our experiences were rated R, right?
yes. Oh no. Oh god. Oh, oh, I'm sorry, but I think I've just learned what the replacement main event for all it's going to be.
Well, we're going to save that for when we preview All Out in a couple moments. Um. How many stars do you give Elite versus Bullet Club Gold?
I given the amount in minutes it took me to take shit uh 2.
I'll go 2.5. I wasn't as bothered as about it. All right. Now we got FTR, Cash. Look out, he's got a gun. Wheeler and Dax Hardwood versus the middle-aged Bucks. They defeated the middle-aged Bucks for the World Tag Team Championships to retain them in 21 minutes and 45 seconds. Um, I was not honestly. I had ambitions going in this match. I was somewhat invested. I was more invested in the FTR winning than actual the Young Bucks versus FTR, if I'm being honest. And that was the only thing that really got me out of my seat. That being said, it wasn't their best match that they've had together. I think the first one was the best, but that's up for debate. But what say you, Scooter? Did you
Uh
like the match? Didn't like the match?
I liked it. I did. I thought this was the best match on the card so far. the best showing. But again, this is supposed to be, or at least that's what they were trying to imply, that this was AEW's WrestleMania, and this was not pulling out all the punches. How they say no flips, just fists.
Yep.
It was no flips, just fits. Um, yes, it was an above average match. But I can't help thinking what we could have seen instead.
I think a lot of the consensus was a rematch between Gin and Juice versus FTR. That was the thing that a lot of people were saying that could have been the match that replaced this one. Yes, no.
Yeah. Yep.
Alright, how many stars do you give this one?
I'm gonna give it 3.5.
I'm going to give it 4 for the simple fact that the right people won. Alright,
And the wrong kid died.
huh?
The right people, the right team won. The wrong kid died.
Yeah,
You see Walk Hard?
Rock Hard? I know.
Walk Hard. Dewey Cox story. John C. Riley. The John, where he plays it. Never mind.
We got the next match, Stadium Stampede. A one Edward Kingston, Penta El Zero Mero, Estrella, Morocco, Generico, Matilda,
Sanchez.
Chucky, Chucky T, Trent, freshly pooped Orange Cassidy. They defeated the Combat Wombats, John Moxicillin, Claudio Itacanoli, Dord Wheeler Yuta, Mike Sonata, and Ortiz. And 21 minutes and 30 seconds. It
Mike's not.
it is what you thought it was going to be, and that's a clusterfuck of what the fuck.
By the way, no, for people wondering, that was not Bo Dallas.
Yes, no.
Even though it looked so much like him.
I mean, was you expecting anything different than what it actually was?
I mean, I was hoping for Carlos Santana, quite honestly.
Is that why they call him Mike Santana? They're afraid people are going to get confused.
With who? Tito? I mean, do we really need another confrontation over last names between people named Mike and Tito? This ain't the Jackson 5 here.
I mean, they have like 15 people called Cage and Page, so.
I know. I mean, Cage and Page, they're all the rage when they're on that stage.
Announced by Nick Cage.
I was really hoping that this Stadium Stampede match was going to be contested under the rules they've established for the Stadium Stampede mode for Fight Forever, which is basically going to be a wrestling version of Fortnite. They should have been jumping out of buses, grabbing, everything from gray to green to blue to purple to gold weapons.
Well,
And
I mean, Penta upgraded himself from a Penta L0 to Penta Escara. The motherfucker had a costume change mid-match.
I mean, that's the question. Was that costume change live?
I mean, how could they have tipped it?
I mean, Stadium Stampede match is supposed to go all over the stadium, right?
I mean, they was in the bleachers and the cheap seats, so they did do stuff, I suppose.
But I mean, we should have seen them cranking them 90s, built-in walls, drinking potions.
Oh, I'm more than sure Moxley was drinking potions.
Mm, gotta keep it respectful for the man in recovery. That's one line I will not cross yet.
I mean, you would have to be smoking something in order to think that this was a good match, no?
Yeah, that's true. Um, I think this might have been better if it was an empty stadium match.
The reason the Stadium Stampede worked when it did
Just
was
because it was empty.
yes. And, you could go all around the arena and do stupid shit because you didn't really care because, it was a cinematic match. You could have one person in this part of the arena and another person in that part of the arena, etc., etc. It just doesn't work anymore. I will say
Uh,
that this was the most tamed of all of the Anarchy in the arenas and Stadium Stampede matches. So, that was somewhat appreciated.
there's supposed to be two different match types. Uh,
It's only
I
they
know.
just changed the name.
Yep. Yeah. I'm surprised that one they didn't try to see if they could have a match in Buckingham Palace.
Oh, I'm sure they tried, but
For the first ever, Pain in the Palace match. And I'm surprised they didn't try to do a match on London Bridge. Terra on the Thames.
how many stars would you give this one?
Um, I give it. I give it 2.5 portions of spotted dick.
You know what? I agree. Next match, Soraya, don't call me Soraya, defeated Who Are You Sheeta. Brett never seen her bake anything, and Tony with an ice storm in 8 minutes and 50 seconds to become the new AEW Women's Champion. Was it the right call, considering where they was? I guess
Mm,
just the moment with her family, I get it. But if we're talking about, logical pro wrestling, and I know AEW doesn't do logical very well, she was the least qualified in this match to actually win it. No?
this was what her maybe fourth match ever in AEW.
Yeah, it's something about that.
This is an example of Tony Khan misunderstanding the difference between booking and fan service.
This was 100% fan service.
But if you ask real wrestling fans, they'll say that Saraya was not the right choice. I mean, I have to say, I love I now love seeing Toni Storm after she's lost the title because she puts like everything into it. Like
This,
it
legitimately, this has been the best work of her life.
yes, it literally like she goes she becomes a Hollywood starlet who looks like she might, you know, lock herself in a room and
She's
take too
unstable.
many illegal substances. Um, Also, at the same time, the fact the way this match ended, by all means, the Outcasts should not be together anymore.
You're not entirely wrong, but is that. Would you maybe attribute that to maybe the other two girls didn't want to take a L to Soraya?
It's I don't know because honestly they I don't think either of them would have the courage actually to say I'm not I'm not doing the job for Soraya.
Seems like you have a lot more faith in the women's division than other people do.
It's this is literally it. They wanted to top Soraya's WWE debut by claiming she won by setting the milestone up. She won her first AEW Women's title in her home country.
Well,
This was it was not it, this was not about the match itself. It was not about the performance of each of the women. This was all about the reaction and the pop that would come after the 3 count.
oh yeah.
Why do you think it was under 10 minutes? Because I don't think they're sure Saraya could go more than 10 minutes.
Well, I will say this. I didn't necessarily think the match was that bad, considering that was only 8 minutes. There was lots of gaga and craziness that played into the story,
Lady
which,
Gaga wasn't
huh?
Lady Gaga wasn't there.
Oh well, there was a lot of gaga. Um,
Radio Gaga. But, I mean,
so
it's funny that
and
So
in yeah, but
see, they could have really used uh Emi Sakura, the one who dresses like Freddie Mercury.
oh my god, you're absolutely right. If there was any time to use her, this would be it, right?
I mean, imagine the entire AEW crowd starting to sing Radio Gaga, like like when it happened at Live Aid.
Um, so everything I said, it wasn't. I didn't think it was that bad of a match, considering what it was. There was a lot of Gaga, which I appreciated. Um, and if it was under any other circumstances, I probably wouldn't say this. But considering that it was in her hometown in front of the biggest crowd that they're ever going to have, and this is probably it for Psariah after this, I think the right person won. So, that being said, how many stars do you give this one, Scooter?
2.5.
I give it 3. Going from Gaga to Kaka, Debbie Allen and Stung defeated Christian Cage and Swerve Bro in a coffin match that lasted 16 minutes. This is definitely the match I felt went way too long. Too much happened. Didn't care. Meh.
You know, somebody pointed out something very interesting. Well, maybe not interesting, but Sting has yet to lose in AEW.
Is that interesting?
I think it's uh, I think people forgot about keeping track of his record and then realized it, because now we know this means Sting is never gonna lose now.
Was he ever going to lose?
If it's to put the right person over.
And I mean, who's the right person?
Bruce Wayne. I mean Nick Wayne. I mean, who knows at this point? Give us Sting and CM Punk, and let's and make Sting retire.
What I heard about Sting was that, he his ring gear since coming back has been like a woman wrestling in Saudi Arabia, head to toe, cloth.
I mean, it does seem like he's actually literally starting to go Joker insane. So,
Yeah, I mean, what did you think about that rap performance for Swerve's entrance?
rap in England. I'm surprised they didn't try to like counter it with like you know British metal.
Well, I mean, I'm impressed that guy got paid to dance at Wembley Stadium and not dance very well either.
I mean, they think about it. They could have brought in Hammer.
Well, if you bring in Hammer, you gotta bring in Nail, right?
Uh, Funny enough, because Nails was at the last pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium.
How many stars do you give this one?
Um, Less stars than the first coffin match in '92. Um, two stars. This is
I agree.
no, just yeah.
Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. 14 minutes and 55 seconds. Ospreay went off. Ospreay went over. Meh.
I nobody's more vocal about why this match happened than me.
Mm-hmm.
This match won me over.
Really.
I thought, aside after FTR and the Young Bucks, this was the second best match of the night.
Interesting. Honestly, I didn't like it. It didn't make sense to me. Who was the good guy? Who was the bad guy? Was there anybody in the right? Was there anybody in the wrong?
Is there anybody to the left?
Was there any? Yeah. It just there was too many hurdles to mentally figure out to actually enjoy the match, in my opinion. And I mean, and then you have Chris Jericho singing before the show, and he only did that to say that while he performed at Wembley. And yeah,
Waka waka.
how many stars?
I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna give it 3.5.
I'll give it 3. The Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, Father Ass. They defeated the House of Black, but no black people in it. Milwaukee Black, Brody Borgo King, and Don't Call Me Pal, Buddy Matthews. House rules, no holds barred, 6-man tag team match. They won the trios championships in 10 minutes and 50 seconds. Um, Considering it was only 10 minutes, it didn't go long, and what they did I found interesting, maybe because I just like these guys. It worked for me. What say you, Squirrel?
This match went too short. Um, and for a house rules match, there really wasn't a lot of weapons involved.
Well, I mean, how is they going to have more weapons than Moxley? No, Orange Cassidy putting glass on his taped hands and all the stupid shit that Moxley did.
uh, who knows? But you know what? I'm more disappointed that Max got very little. Got Didn't get many bars out.
I think they were probably running short on time at this point.
Like, it was like so much and like what, 4 lines. That's it. Oh man. But hey, they get custom trios titles that now can scissor each other.
And they scissored Julia Hart as well.
Yes, yes. Ah, nothing beats a surprise leg drop to the vagina.
And was that supposed to be the spot where Sasha came in? Sasha and Julia
I,
scissoring?
I, I mean, unless Julia was pregnant with Sasha. Um,
What?
uh, you said that would be the spot for Sasha to come in. Are you implying she would come out of Julia?
No, to come out from the crowd to come into the match.
Well, that's not what you said the first time. I mean, considering that this is, that Julia Hart was the first person named Hart to be in this Wembley Stadium pay-per-view. Yeah, I'm happy the Acclaimed won. I really was hoping for Scissor Me Uncle Bart, but hey. Again, this is an average match. Probably the best thing about this match was the entrance for the House of Black.
When they came out in white, even though they're black,
The tribute to Bray.
that too.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything else I could say about this match, quite honestly.
It worked for me. It was a cool little moment for Daddy Ass, and a feel good moment at the end. I give it 3.5 stars. Scooter?
3.
Alright. Then we have the last match, the main event. The main event of the world's biggest pro wrestling event ever. MJF versus Budge for the AEW World Championship. It lasted 29 minutes. I wasn't interested in this match. I didn't like this match. Um, I just, I don't know. I was waiting for somebody to turn on somebody. The psychology was good. The actual match part was okay. I didn't really have a problem with it, but I don't know. It just didn't hit for me.
This was not a stadium level main event. We all knew that from the get go. There was only one match that is ever going to be a stadium filler, and that's Punk Omega. And that's never going to happen now.
Nope.
Do you know what? I'm gonna see if you can figure this out. Do you know what pissed me off the most about this match?
What?
Okay, a double pin. Okay. Yeah, alright, so, okay, a possible, we know a Dusty finish is coming. Can you tell me, what the, announced time limit on the match was?
1 hour, I believe.
I don't believe there was a time limit announced.
Oh. Usually the time
And,
limit is 1 hour. For
and what does Adam Cole do? He asks for 5 more minutes. What sense, what logic does that make any sense? Oh my god. Yeah, okay. Great. If they had gone to a time limit draw, I'd understand that. But it was a literal double pin, and you're asking for just 5 more minutes? Not that type of draw, Budge. I mean, at least, part of me is wondering whether, Max was told to say what he said, or he realized that Adam Cole made that huge error in time judgment. Because at least Max says, no, 5 more minutes? No, we gotta go until there's a winner. And then they end it in the weirdest finish possible.
basically just a roll up.
They were really they were really trying to be SummerSlam 92.
And you know what bothers me the most about it? You know, you said the 5 more minutes, and I understood the sentiment of, I understood where they were going with it when, you know, he asked for 5 more minutes and Max denied him, you know, in their first match, whatever. The acting is so melodramatic. They're trying to be, you know, such good actors, and it just comes off really wonky and ungenuine. You know what I mean?
And considering that this is Cole's second pay-per-view main event for the title, and if you ask me, Adam Cole has had enough title shots for now.
It sounds like it's going to Roddy next.
Which is even more ridiculous. Because Roderick Strong isn't exactly established in the main event scene. He's literally there by association.
Well, I mean, they have to build somebody up, right?
Yes, yeah, that's true, and there is history between Cole and Mike Bennett as well. But
Does anybody care about a Mike Bennett Adam Cole match at this point?
no, but I don't understand what giving them the Ring of Honor tag titles was supposed to do.
It extends the story, and it makes, and without actually giving them the main tag team championships, because nobody's touching FTR at this point.
It, it, here's the thing: is that after Roderick Strong's promo on Dynamite, I'm thinking, oh, what? He'll bring in Kyle O'Reilly,
I'm not sure
and
if Kyle is ready to come back.
I don't think he is either. But that's where my mind was going because Strong said he was going to enter. I can't remember if the Kingdom were even in the match to begin with.
I don't think they
Uh,
knew if they won the match.
uh, but I was, I was hoping maybe it would lead to Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly against MJF and Adam Cole at All Out. Say I'm very happy with who they're facing at All Out. I'm gonna say they probably don't exactly deserve it though. But it was decent, but MJF saying, "Oh, you want the belt? Fucking take it." That's not Max. I mean, we've been buying the fact that Max has changed, but we haven't forgotten that Max is Max,
He is the
and
devil.
to hear him say, "Oh, just take the You want the belt? Take it. Like, no. It's probably the least heel thing he's done. After, coming out with Cody at the first
Right.
review.
I mean, does anybody know if you don't know who Mike Bennett and Matt Taven are you going to know who they are? You get what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, all right, more generic white guys.
Yay. Okay. How many stars you give this one?
3.
I agree. Alright. The show as a whole. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Thumbs down.
I give it thumbs in the middle. Like I said, I didn't have too many expectations going into this show, and I actually did enjoy some of the shit that was on it. It held my attention where a lot of the things AEW doesn't. That being said,
Ah, just the fact that it there was something about, oh, Tony Khan promises there's going to be changes to the card, and that I think was a bit of their undoing.
what do you mean?
Like, like Tony was saying, that that some things were going to change, and some matches might be different. The fact that he said that was the most earnest indicator that he has no idea how to book a WrestleMania-esque event.
He feels anything that could work on the Indies could work in front of 80,000 people.
Yeah.
That being said, this was proclaimed the biggest event in wrestling history. And they, they, say what you will about it, they did draw a lot of people in an historic building. With, 81,000 debated, whatever. It was a lot of fucking people. And they made a lot of fucking money. But that being said, if it is the biggest event in wrestling history, let's I'll be kind and I'll say 5 years from now, are we going to remember any match that happened on this card?
I doubt if when they return to Wembley, we probably won't remember. I will say this though. Booking Wembley for another year, a year in advance, is probably the smartest pro wrestling business decision that Tony Khan has ever made. Because, you know, before we knew All In was going to be at Wembley, we knew Money in the Bank was going to be in London. And then we had, the possibility of John Cena saying, we want to bring WrestleMania to London. Well, there's only one stadium in London where you could do it.
Correct.
That's Wembley. And they now AEW may have brought a halt to any plans for WrestleMania to come to Wembley. Because if you think that the WWE is going to say, oh, yeah, we don't care that AEW is running at Wembley next summer. We're still gonna bring WrestleMania there. No, it won't happen. They won't do it. The only way it would happen now is if somehow between now and WrestleMania 41, which won't happen in London to begin with, but it wouldn't happen unless somehow a new 100,000 plus crowd stadium is built. So, maybe we get WrestleMania Goes Hawaiian. Wait, no, never mind. No, Hawaii burned down.
Boo. I don't think it's a smart decision whatsoever to book Wembley again. We, you and I both know. I think everybody knows. This motherfucker got lucky getting what he got for Wembley this time around. And
I'm not saying it was a good idea.
Okay.
I'm not saying it was a smart, competitive business maneuver. It'll come back to bite him in the ass, but it puts a halt in any plans for WrestleMania to be held outside North America.
Basically, throwing money away just to despite WWE. That sounds right, Tony.
Yeah, but WrestleMania in any stadium, because of its legacy, can draw without any of the matches being known. And again, I will say this until the day I die. It didn't sell out because it was AEW. It sold out because it was pro wrestling in Wembley Stadium.
Agreed.
They wanted everyone in that crowd wanted to be able to say, "Yep, I was at the first wrestling show at Wembley Stadium in 30 years."
Agreed. Alright, that'll conclude our coverage of All In.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.